Hey, welcome and join your blended family on a fun Friday. A Friday where we're talking about the holidays that are coming up. They are knocking, they are approaching, they are here. You're just going to have a lot of family probably around. So what can you do in your backyard to have a lot of fun together? That's the question. That's the real question.
Well, that is a good question. And we are going to share with you nine different
Oh
things
my
that
God.
you can
Do
do.
we have 9?
Yeah.
Wow.
9
Dang, we're
different
good.
ideas.
9
and some
ideas.
of these you have probably have some very fond memories, but maybe haven't done in a while. Some of them might be on your regular rotation, and some you may have never heard of before.
Never even heard of. So it's going to be fun.
But
I'm
isn't
ready.
it the
I'm excited.
perfect time of year to get out in your backyard and have some family fun and make some memories?
That is. I'm ready. I'm excited for these 9 things coming up. Are you ready? Because we're going to be back here in just a minute.
That accent. I don't know what it is. All right. Here we are. So
We's back. We's back.
We are back with 9
Live action.
backyard games.
Backyard games.
And so
That you could even play in the front yard. So this could be like the front backyard games.
I guess that's true.
You could even play these in the front yard. We're just calling them the backyard because it sounds cooler. And so even if you play them in the front or the side yard, if you have a side yard, then you could do a side yard games as well. So it works either way.
Wherever
Either way.
you maybe have
Yes.
some grass.
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe we should call them grass games.
Grass yard games.
But you can't even call it that because you could do it even if you don't have grass. If you're living in Arizona and it's super dry, it could have been
I
dirt
don't
games
know. Some of
or.
these things you might not want to play on rocks.
Well, that's true. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you
Go to a
don't.
park.
We're going to let you choose. But the point is you can play them just about anywhere outside. So it's anywhere outside games. But we're calling them backyard games.
But what we want you to do is when we tell you some of these, especially the ones that, because I think it'd be different for everybody, depending on what it was like when you grew up. You probably have some very fond memories with some of these. And take yourself back to those things and remember the connection you have with those people when you played those games, when you had those activities. Those are the same moments that we're wanting to recreate and create in our blended family. If you have fond memories attached to that thing that connects you with that person, that's because you were having fun together. You were spending time with them. You were doing something new or learning something new or doing something as a tradition. I think you get the point here is take yourself back to that feeling. And when you make time, and sometimes you just, it's easier. We live in a time where television is so easily accessible. Our phones are right there in our hands, and we can get so wrapped up in the digital side of life that it just seems like a lot of work to get outside and to get everybody outside or just to even go out there. But make it a point, even if you're just choosing 1 hour out of the time you're together, to go out back or front or side or to the park and do some of these things.
That's a great point because we can get stuck into the kind of just the easy routine. Sometimes it does take a little work to go outside or to get a game going or something of that. So maybe setting aside a time saying, hey, from 3 to 4, we're doing this. That way it's there, it's on your schedule, you're doing it, because I guarantee you once you get everyone out there and you're doing these activities, you're going to go a lot longer. It's just going to be fun. Everyone's going to have a blast, and you're going to end up doing it for hours on end. So it really is setting, you got to make it happen. We always call that being intentional. You have to be intentional to make these opportunities happen, because if not, they won't. And then we miss out on this connection, because you really will draw a stronger connection when you're out doing something as opposed to everyone just sitting there being on your phones or glued to a TV. So we have to be intentional on adding this into the mix. We're not saying all the other stuff's bad, but we're just saying that when you add this into the mix, you're going to get better results with your family.
And you don't have to do all 9 of these. These are just 9 ideas. You take what resonates with you. Maybe throw out the 9 ideas to your family and do the whole elimination thing like we like. And everybody takes one away. And you have at least a few to choose from after that most people are not against.
Yeah, and then you could do one a week or, whatever, and just try them out. Try different ones out. Have fun with that. But yeah, that's a great place to start. See what your whole family likes. Maybe throw out all these 9 ideas. Maybe put them on a piece of paper and then have them each, circle one, and then you bring them back in, and it's kind of like one of those little votes or surveys or something like that. Have fun with it. Do something, whatever your creativity skill set is, to figure out, what does your family like doing out of these 9? What would
I'm picturing like you write all 9 on a dry erase board, because we love dry erase boards here in our house. Each family member goes up and they take one away. And then the next family member, and they take one away until you just have a few left. I mean, there's so many ways to play the elimination game here. Were you ready to share?
9. We have 9.
You keep saying 9. 9.
I know. I'm excited because these actually are fun. I enjoy each one of these, and we have actually played each and every one of these at some point in our lives. And it really is a lot of fun memories.
I'm going to let you share number 1. I'm not as partial to number 1. I don't really have a lot of connection or memories to number 1, but I think you do. So go ahead.
So number one. This one is a ever-rising popular one that you're even seeing in some of the lower ESPN channels and stuff as competitions. But it is Cornhole. Cornhole.
Isn't there another name for it too? Is there not?
Not that I know of. It's always been called Cornhole that I know of. But yeah, it reminds me like Beavis and Butthead. Cornhole, I need tippy for my bunghole. Yeah.
I thought there was a less country
My name is Cornholio.
But maybe not.
No, like they have a different version called like Washers. They've got that to where it's kind of the same concept.
Oh, yeah.
Except you're using washers to.
Because cornhole is usually a beanbag.
Yeah, cornhole is a beanbag. So if you
explain it for those that don't know cornhole.
For those who have never seen a cornhole boards,
you have to say cornhole.
Cornhole, and anybody been playing that cornhole? But yeah, it is it's like a rectangular card. It's not cardboard. It's plywood-ish type things that are on small stands to give them a little lean, a little rise up, a little angle. But there are 2 of them, kind of like, imagine horseshoes, and these pieces of plywood that are slightly raised would be in the place of where the horseshoe pits would go. And then instead of using horseshoes, you're using bean bags. So there are these bean bags that you have. You each get 4 bean bags, and just like you would horseshoes, you both stand on one side and you each toss your bean bags towards the center, because in the center is a hole.
Is there always just one hole or 2 holes?
There's always one hole. It's
one hole.
One cornhole. One cornhole on each one of these platforms, and the idea is to toss it and try to get the bean bag into the hole. And then you get points for like if you're next to it or who's closest and things of that. And you can even like knock them into the hole. So there is a skill and an art form. You can look up the rules on Google. They've got them there. Or if you buy a cornhole set, then you have it. And it's a cheap thing to buy. It's fun. Your family will enjoy it. We've always had a blast playing this.
I have seen people even making them like as gift sets with like their family name on them or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like those that are really into it. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool as a gift idea.
And these boards, most of the time, the way that they're made, they like fold, they push together, and you put the bean bags inside them. That way, it stores easy. So it is a real fun game. So, but it's very similar to horseshoes, just a different feel, different vibe, and it is growing ever so popular.
Yeah. Well, and number 1,
Cornhole.
Moving into number 2, you kind of halfway talked about, which is horseshoes. Is horseshoes. And I do have very fond memories. And I tell y'all a lot of stories like of my upbringing, and it wasn't always the healthiest of upbringing, but there are certain memories that I have with my dad that just connects me with him, and horseshoes are one of those. When I think of horseshoes, I think of my dad, because it is something that, for one, him and his buddies, I guess that's what he would call them, his buddies would come over, and we had a horseshoe pit in our backyard area that he had created himself, and I would play in that horseshoe pit because it had sand, and so I would make sand.
That's what you do when you're kids, you know.
Yeah, you play in the sand. But I also got to a point where I learned how. He taught me how to play horseshoes and how to get a ringer and the leaners and all of the different terminology, and then it hides in the sand. And when you're young, it just has that like excitement feel to it, especially when you feel like you're doing something that the adults do. So I always thought it was just really cool for me to be able to join in that and play. And then as I got older, there was a few opportunities where him and I played together, and it was just like, I don't know, it's just that bonding experience.
Yeah, horseshoes really are fun. That's one of those old school games that still around. I have so many memories. I've even built horseshoe pits in our house before. And it's just one of those things that are fun. And if your kids are younger, then you can move them up a little bit. You know, you can move them up on where they're throwing at and have different lines to help get them involved in the game. But that is fun. Horseshoes are a blast. I remember one time, we've always done horseshoes. We live close to the beach here in South Texas, so our beach is super hard sand. And, we'd always go out there and play a lot. And that was just anytime you go to the beach, you had your horseshoes. And I started going to Florida to Panama City, Panama City, Florida. And we started going there. Well, my first time that we went there, we took our horseshoe pit, because that's what you do when you go to the beach, right? And we had never been around that white and fluffy of a sand. Like, this sand is just so amazing, so beautiful. It was really hard to come back to our beaches. But whenever we got there, we set up the horseshoe pit. And I remember that first throw, we threw it, and boom, the horseshoe just buried in the sand, and is like, where'd it go? I don't know. So we discovered real quick, you can't really play horseshoes in Panama City Beach very well, because they just sink right into the sand, and you can't tell if you got a leaner or ringer or any of that. So yeah, it's one of those. But horseshoes is fun. That is a fun game. So try that one. The third one, volleyball. Volleyball.
And volleyball, I think, is one of your favorite
I love volleyball.
Outdoor things. Like, he even made this really heavy, fancy volleyball net that we had for a long time.
Yeah, I made one of those. That way we could take it out to the beach. But little did I know that when you put two 80-pound bags of concrete into a old tire, and to where you can have each one of your posts, that's kind of hard to get around. So I didn't think too well with that. But we still used it, and we did take it many a times. There might have been a few busted toes from that, but it's okay. Yeah. But no, I remember going to many people's homes, even as family gatherings that we would do, and just setting up a simple volleyball net outside and playing in the backyard. We had so much fun doing that, and that's one that everybody can get involved. You can split your whole family up and have them, in the backyard playing volleyball. It's a real fun way to get out and have fun.
Yeah, we did this not long ago with some of my cousins and their kids that I don't get with very often. And so we just had so many laughs. Like, if you're around my mom, she will tell the story. She didn't even play volleyball with us. She was just watching, and she had so much joy just watching me and my siblings, my cousins, and our kids all out there. We were all terrible, and that's what made it even funnier. Watching my nephews, especially in those preteen, teenage ages where they're a little bit shy and awkward when you come around in a new group. I'm thinking of Randall even when he was in that preteen, teenage. I didn't know him, but I just know his stories. It's like they're that introverted self, but then you get them out here on the volleyball court, and my nephews even would say, like, I am bad at this, and I'm like, hey, I'm bad at this too. And so we all were bad at it together, so much so that I'm pretty sure I peed my pants like 3 times because we were laughing.
Wow, disclaimer.
We were laughing so
a little TMI.
Always TMI.
So volleyball is a blast. You will pee your pants.
Recommended.
Recommended.
If you didn't pee your pants, you're not having enough fun, so get back out there.
So number four is a game you may not have heard of, but it's called Can Jam. Can Jam, Kan Jam.
And I only know about Can Jam because we used it with the youth students, and it basically looks like a little trash can, but without the bottom. It's like this rubber. What do you call that? Like
so it's it's a flappy material that flaps around. But yeah, no, it's a round plastic that sits very shallow, probably about 3 feet high, and it's got a slit in one of the sides of it. And you're trying. It's a real fun game. Like.
Oh, you're not trying to get in the top. You're trying to get it through the hole.
Well, you do it both ways.
Tell me about
so
it.
So you've got 2 sets of partners. So say me and you are partners.
Me
and you are partners.
Are you and the listener?
No, me and you. We're
Okay.
partners. And we're going against 2 other people, right?
The listeners.
So the listeners. And so we have 2 cans. That's what they're called, cans. And it's got
K-A-N cans.
Yeah, and it's got the top is open, and it's got a slit on the side, and they're set X number of feet apart. You can read the legit rules on that. But I would be on one side, you'd be on the other. And it's played with a Frisbee. So I'm taking a Frisbee, and I'm tossing that Frisbee towards that can. I can do it one of 2 ways. If I can get it in that hole, in that slit, that's worth X number of points, which is worth a lot more. I think it's like 3 points. But if I get it to where it's like slightly above that, and you can pop it in with your hand, like you can't grab it and throw it, but it's got to be like just a hit of the hand, and you're trying to get it in the top of the hole. If you do that, then that's 1 point.
Oh, you and your partner, you might have said this, but we're on opposite sides of each other.
We're on opposite sides, but we're working together.
Okay. It's like a rebound or like a assist.
Right, yeah, an assist. You would try to assist it in. You can't grab it and throw it. It has to just be a pop of the hand. And so it's really, you're trying to get that aim close enough to the top to where it's an easy pop in, because if it gets too far off, you got to do like a long sweep pop to where you're hoping that you can get it up and over into the hole to get that point. But yeah, it's kind of like any game. You're going to X amount of points. I think it's like 21. It's what we had always played it to. But so you'll go, and then the opposite team, the person standing next to you, he throws his Frisbee, and his partner tries to get it in, and then the other side throws the Frisbee back, and you're just trying to rack up points. So there it is. That is Can Jam.
K-A-N? J-A-M.
And then you can't bust. Like if you bust, then you get knocked down to so many points. So yeah, there's a few rules on that, but that is a fun game that's played with Frisbees that can take 4 players on that one. Y'all could just kind of rotate teams.
And just in
in
case
and
you're
out.
wondering, we're going to put all of these in the show notes so that you can go back and refer to them.
Yeah, for sure. We'll give you links and everything to where you can go check them out and see what they're all about. But Can Jam is real fun. Now, number 5.
Number 5 is, I think it's genius. And I love when we go, we don't have this for ourselves, but I love when we go somewhere and they have these, especially the ginormous ones. And it's Jenga. Is that how you say it?
Jenga.
You call it Jenga?
Yeah, Jenga, or some of them call it the giant tumbling timbers, depending on the different
They probably just can't
name.
steal the name of.
Right, Jenga. But yeah, it's like Jenga, but it's oversized. These are just big blocks of wood that stand tall, that you would put outside on the patio or put it out on a table. And that can be played with multiple people that you're just kind of pulling, same name as Jenga, you're trying to pull them and not have everything topple over.
Yeah, you're trying to pull one little piece out at a time. But I like it because they have like a large version, and then they have like a jumbo, like humongous version that's as tall as you. Both of them a lot of fun, taking it that outside of the norm game.
Yeah. So that is a fun option. That's one that's not as sportsy, but it's more kind of that thinking game. So maybe if your family's more of the thinkers, that would be a fun game to add into the mix.
And if you can get that slow-mo video of right before it crashes.
Yes, before it crashes or as it's crashing. Ooh,
that's always a fun one.
That's really cool. That'd be good to put on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that's number 5. Number 6.
Hang on. We'll be right back.
It's time to have some more blended family fun. Yeah. Are you ready?
What was that?
I've been really working on this song. What do you think?
Sure. It's great, babe.
Well, it goes along with how to enjoy your blended family. You know, the 5 dates to discover fun in your step family, the greatest thing since sliced bread for blended families.
Okay, I get it now. I feel your excitement, but why don't you tell them about it instead of singing it to them?
Wow, okay, shut me down. Why don't you? All right, let me try. When you have more fun together, you see less blended family drama. But we can get so caught up in life and problems that we miss out on really enjoying our family. So we'll walk you through 5 dates where you'll discover more fun your family loves and have a great plan to keep it going. How's that?
Pretty good. Short and sweet. I know that got them way more excited about all the fun possibilities they can experience with their family than your song did.
What? Seriously?
Well, you could have also told them that it not only creates more fun in their whole family doing this, but it also adds more fun in their marriage and gives them new ways to connect with their kids individually. It's also great for building that step-parent relationship. You could have said all that too.
I don't think you really appreciated all the work that I put in on that song.
Anyways, How to Enjoy Your Blended Family, 5 Dates to Discover Fun in Your Step Family is available for you today. Discover more fun and you'll see less problems. The link to get started is in the show notes of this episode.
Have more fun with your blended family and go on these 5 dates today. You'll be so glad you did. Yeah, yeah.
Really? You had to go there again. Let's get back to this episode.
This one's a fun one. This one takes me back to my kid days.
Yeah, tell us.
So
about your
this
kid
one is
days.
badminton. Badminton. If you have never seen badminton, you've got the little birdie, and then you've got these long, like tennis racket looking type things that are more narrow with a smaller head on it. And then you got the little birdie, the little flight thing that you hit. And you've got a net that the net's not as tall or wide as a volleyball net, but it's just a little bit more short than a volleyball. And basically you're hitting these birdies over the net to the other side, and it's back and forth.
It's like tennis, but not where your ball's going to go flying everywhere because of how it has the little cone funnel thing coming off of it, so it makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, this is fun. You can have multiple people on this. And, you know, me as a kid, me and my brother used to play this. We would set the net up outside, and we would just have a lot of fun back there. It really takes me back to my kid days and us just having a blast with that.
I do remember I was like a lonely, only child with my grandma, and so I remember just having fun in the backyard myself, hitting the badminton and the little birdie and just making it fly around the backyard. But I enjoyed, we went to his dad and mom's house a while back, and our nieces, which are really too little to be playing like actual badminton, but we had the little rackets and stuff, and we were just hitting it over the swing set and just having a lot of fun and laughter with that, trying to get it going back and forth.
Yeah, because what's cool about these is whenever you hit it, it just has a different feel. Like they don't take off like a ball would or anything because of just the aerodynamics of them. So it really makes it interesting, and you have to hit it. You know, it's just a feel. Like once you start hitting it, you catch it, and you're like, oh, okay, this is cool.
Like a
so
rubbery boing.
Yeah, it's really fun. That is a fun game. So if you never set up a badminton set, there you go. Try that one. That is fun. You'll have a blast with that, you and your kids.
Yeah, and number 7 definitely takes me back to my childhood, and this is something me and my grandma would play together, and that is croquet.
Croquet.
It was one of these like fancy English Bridgerton type games back in the day where you have these little stakes that have like an upside down U shape, N shape, or whatever.
Good way to describe it.
And they're like wires, and they're going into the ground. Or I think on Alice in Wonderland, it's what the Queen of Hearts is playing as well, right?
Yeah.
And so you're hitting these big, hard balls that are different colors. You have your color, and you're trying to hit it through this pathway with this mallet. And so whoever can get it down to the end and get theirs to come back in the pattern that you're supposed to do it is the winner. And so this is one you can play with a little bit of players. Like I said, it was just me and my grandma that would play it, and we just would make a lot of memories on a nice fall day going outside and playing this together. Or we brought it back. I mean, it was just one of the, I really wanted to play, and I kept our set that I had at my grandma's house, like I would just play with it indoors, like setting it up and rolling the balls around. It was just a common toy that I used. And so I requested it for Mother's Day one year. And Randall, he always comes
I came through like a champ,
He
y'all.
always comes through.
I did.
He found it at like Academy or something.
I got a good croquet set from Academy, and you know, I did I get it through Academy or Amazon, one of the two. But yeah, it was one of those that I went and got, and we set it up, and we had a blast. That was really the first time I had ever played, and it was fun, you know, kind of reading the rules and figuring out, you know, well, how do you do it, you know, to if you hit this ball, or, you know, if you get it here, you know, there are little different things with it, with the rules, and each one comes with a little rule thing that you can read. But it was fun. We had a blast doing it. In fact, we set it up a couple times and we played since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, croquet is fun. Now, if you have younger kids, maybe croquet, maybe you want to do an alternative. They've got a giant kick croquet set. And that one is to where it's almost like a half a hula hoop or something that you stick into the ground. And they got these big old kickballs that look like the regular croquet balls. No, you can buy these. You can buy that, and you set it up just like croquet, but now you're kicking the balls instead of, you know, having the smaller balls. So yeah, that's something to check out as well. So they got different, they got different alternatives there. But croquet is fun.
All right. Well, speaking of that alternative version, and number 8, this one I think
Anderson
is good.
Those who know.
Okay,
Anderson.
I do not know.
Matrix? No. Anderson. Just the way I did the voice reminded me of that guy. So sorry about that.
Okay.
That was a little squirrel moment. But we're talking kickball now.
This is one of those that your sports lovers and your non-sports lovers, if you're going to play something organized, kickball, number 8 is kickball, is one of those activities. I am not a sports person. I do not like contact sports or where things come flying at me. But kickball, I guess because of the ball that you use for it is not as hard. It has that, you know, it'll just bounce off you if someone throws it at you and hits you with it. But it's just one of those games. It's like baseball, but just with the ball and the bases, and you're kicking it instead, and you have a little bit more of a chance of succeeding than with an actual bat and ball.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games that most people always love. If it's set up, everybody wants to play it. It's a fun game. I remember earlier in our marriage for several years, we were with a group of friends that it seemed like we got together a lot and played kickball.
Speaking of, we played kickball at our bridal shower. We had a co-ed bridal shower indoor. And for whatever reason, I come up with weird ideas, guys. And for whatever reason, we played kickball indoors at our bridal shower.
See, kickball is just a family favorite. So yeah, that's an easy one. That's super easy to set up.
All the different age kids can play.
That's right.
And,
That's right. You can have a lot of fun with kickball. Just old-fashioned kickball. And if you want to get really fancy, get one of the bigger balls, you know, instead of just a normal kickball. So you can also change that one up a little too.
Or use pools as your bases. I think we talked about that during the summertime.
Probably don't want to do that in the fall.
But maybe not in the
winter. But yeah, kickball is just fun. So last one, number 9. Number 9, we made it through this list. Yes. And man, y'all are going to have so many ideas. So number 9, are you ready?
Yeah.
This one is called ladder toss. The ladder toss. So you go get a 6-foot ladder and you set. No, I'm just kidding.
And
don't
shot
get
put. And you throw the ladder.
You have your 2-year-old climb up the 6-foot ladder. And no, I'm just kidding. Seriously, I'm just
You're
kidding.
You're gonna get people really hurt.
I kid. No, ladder toss is. You might have seen it. You might not have. But what it is it's almost just like any of the others, kind of like horseshoes, cornhole. So you've got two sides, but this one actually looks like a ladder. So it's these plastic things that you put together, and it stands maybe about 3 foot tall, and it has maybe 3-4 rungs on it. And the toss is it's got 2 rubber balls with a rope attached to it. And you take those and you're standing at one side, throwing to the other side, and you're trying to catch at different rungs.
Do you see, I've never played this one. Do you David and Goliath it? Like, are you swinging it and then you're throwing it?
No, really, you're just tossing it because of the way that the balls and the string are attached to each other. If you're twirling it around, you're not going to get good action or aim. So you really want to kind of come back like you would a horseshoe and toss it. And each one of the different rungs are a different point. So some of the rungs are a little harder to get that wrapped around, so you get bigger points for that. That is a fun game. That's a fun game that your kids will love as well. It is more of a challenging game. It's fun. It's an alternative to cornhole, horseshoes.
Maybe we should do that for Christmas or something.
Yeah, we used to do that during the holidays at my mom's house. We had got a ladder toss set up, and we just had a blast. We had that. We had the horseshoe set up. We just kind of bounced around it all. You have a few of these set up, and then, your family just kind of comes out, and everybody's hanging around different ones, or you're getting different teams together doing the different things. So that's kind of with all these 9, you're not just limited to the one. Maybe you get a few of these set out in your yard and just have them open, have them there ready to play, and everyone come and go. And as they're
kind of excited for some family gatherings now.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So there it is. You've got 9 backyard, side yard, front yard opportunity games that you can play with your family. So all you got to do is sit there and maybe talk with your family and have the 9 say, hey, which ones are y'all interested in? So we'll put all the links there in the show notes to each one of these. If you're like, Ken, what? What was that game? That way you can refer back to it and see what that is. And then you could do a YouTube and check it out and see if maybe y'all be down with that. But it really is. All these games are fun. It's just one of those that get you outside and get you doing something together. As we always say, when you're doing fun activities together, it builds stronger bonds and connections. Yeah. And that's what we want in our blended family. So we have to be intentional to create more of these opportunities. And when we do, you have a lot of fun.
Yes, and then your kids are going to be 20 years from now looking back and saying, man, I just love that can jam. It reminds me of being out back in the fall with my family.
That's right. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to create. We want more of those moments. But it really will. It'll add a lot of special fun to your holidays. So have that, use that, take that. Maybe that reminds you of some other fun games you had when you were growing up that you can present with your family.
And even gift ideas here towards the holidays when you're thinking of something as a family. What can you give? Giving these for your family to get you outside. Gift that keeps on giving.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So the ultimate goal is go have fun. Go have fun. Yes. Go have fun. There it is. Y'all, we love you. Hope these 9 ideas have helped and have sparked some ideas for you to go and create these new experiences with your family. We love you guys, and we will see you on the next episode. Later.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope this episode has been a blessing and encouraged your family journey.
Make sure you stay connected with us and join our weekly Blended Family newsletter. We send an email out every Friday morning full of support and encouragement.
And when you join, we also want to give you a free gift. So go get yours today. The link is in the show notes below.
Have an amazing day. Remember to enjoy the journey with your blended family, and we'll see you on the next episode.